Gardner-Webb head coach Cris Reisert, the team coming off a victory, 23-13 over the Citadel in their home opener. They're going to be on the road. They got their second FBS opponent of the year, Ohio, this weekend. So, Coach, some thoughts about your team, and we'll go to some questions.
Yeah, I think quality win against Citadel. Really good football team. Very disciplined, very fundamentally sound, well coached, talented. So we were pleased being able to walk out of there with a home opener win, and I think there was a lot of things that we can improve upon, and so there's so much growth that our team needs to kind of go through. Certainly as we get ready to prepare for Ohio, but just as we get ready to prepare for the next 9 weeks of our season. I hope that our best football is ahead of us. And there's a lot of things that we were able to pinpoint coming out of that game that we really need to grow in, we need to improve on. And so, hoping to have a great week of practice and preparation and really focus on us and focusing, on our Kaizen and just finding a way to get 1% better.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go to some questions. Jacob's with us. Go ahead, Jacob, with what you got.
Coach, can you hear me?
Hey, Jacob.
Hey, I know we talked a little bit after the game on Saturday about how big your place kicker was, but after I looked at the box score, your punter had a really good game too,
Yeah.
averaging over 53 yards a punt. So just tell me how important your special teams were collectively on the win on Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, I think anytime you have specialists that can impact the game from a field position and from a point perspective, I mean, that's a huge advantage, right? And really Citadel's done a great job, in my opinion, on special teams in the past. They've got a tremendous punter as well, and they had blocked, I think it was 7 field goals in 24, and had already blocked a couple in 25, and they had blocked a couple punts as well. And so I thought our protection teams did really well to create an opportunity for Brady and Jackson, our 2 punters, to do that. And then also I think our field goal protection team with vast improvement from the Georgia Tech week, and Charlie to make some big kicks. So played a big role both from a point perspective, but also from a field position.
You're now 2-0 against teams from the SoCon. How big are those wins from a recruiting perspective and from a conference prestige perspective for the Big South OVC Conference?
Yeah, I mean, I think they matter. I think our conference is really, really, really strong this year, and honestly has been in the years past. And so, if you look at some of the crossover games, I think our conference is faring very well against the SoCon, and I hope that as the season evolves, right, that gets reflected in rankings and gets reflected in ratings and playoffs and all the above, right? So, I'm not smart enough to know that how all that stuff works out. I just assume that typically when you can win those games, it's got to be a good thing, right? So, so I'm pleased that for us personally, that whether it was a SoCon or the ABC conference, for us personally, just finding a way to win those 2 FCS games has meant a great deal.
Moving on to Ohio, they gave Ohio State a little bit more than they wanted on this past Saturday. So, what do you know about them, and how are you preparing for the Bobcats?
Good football team, really complete football team. The quarterback's a really good player. They've got great skill on offense. They've got a really kind of senior laden group up front, at least a veteran laden group up front on offense. They're super strong, play well together. Schematically, I think they're really buttoned up and force you to have to defend all 53 and a third. And you got to be prepared for a variety of different tempos and kind of scheme things. Defensively, they're a really talented core. They've got 5 veteran guys in the back end. Linebackers played a ton of football. Up front, they've been really productive the last couple of weeks, getting pressure against what I would consider some of the premier offensive lines in the country. And so it's a good football team, and we have a great test in front of us, and one that we're really, really excited for. Though I think it's an awesome opportunity, and one that our guys will be ready to go in, and we're looking forward to the test, and it'll be a great barometer to see if we've improved from the Georgia Tech week. This is a really good football team, on that type of level. And so we'll get a good gauge on, man, have we made a jump as a program and as a team, going into Ohio. So I'm looking forward to that.
That leads me into my last question. I know after the Georgia Tech game, you said that, you kind of had a different approach when you faced FBS programs to not get anybody hurt and just, it was a good opportunity. But is it a different a little bit different approach when you're playing an ACC school versus a G5 program. Do you feel like you can be a bit more competitive?
Yeah, we're going up there to win a football game, you know, and so we're looking forward to the opportunity, and um, that's about it.
All right. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Coach, nobody'd say you're having play a challenging schedule like what Georgia Tech did against Clemson. You play
Daggone, I know.
a ranked FCS team, and you got to get better, right? Playing good teams is how you get better. So you think your team is, done the best they can against these good. You're 2-1 against really good competition this year.
Yeah, I think we're on the right track. I think we're doing some good things programmatically. I think culturally we're in a really good place. I hope that we look at the beginning phases of our season as, I think we've grown a lot. I think we also evaluate that there is so much that we can do better, in so many different ways. And so we're really trying to pinpoint and attack those things. And like I said, we're fired up to get to go play Ohio, but like more than anything, this is one more week of practice for us to improve as a team, and we've tried to approach it that way. Our big thing is just be where your feet are, stay in the moment, be present, and eventually game day will show up. But let's not skip Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday because we're so excited for Saturday. Like, let's just make sure we squeeze every ounce of juice out of each day in front of us. And like I always say, then God will handle the rest.
Last question, we'll let you go. Jacob referenced it. I didn't hear the answer. He asked after the game. Talk about your kicker and just what he did. He was perfect and was a big part of your all's win on Saturday.
Yeah, we were fired up for Charlie. Kicked the ball well. Was right down the middle. I always got to give a shout out to his operation, Kevin Fay, our long snapper, and Jackson Dorr, a holder, and those guys go as one. And so, but Charlie made some kicks, had some juice, had some energy. He's done a really good job in our kickoff game too, which oftentimes like you don't get awards for that, but I'm proud of him for what he's done to impact the game in a positive way there. And I think it was good for him. I think Jacob and I talked about this, but anytime you make kicks, like it can't hurt your confidence, right? And so it can't do anything but positively impact you. And so 3 kicks, I think it's got to give him some juice, and he's got to feel pretty good about going into week 4.
And he was the special teams player of the week. I just asked Coach Wilkerson about this. Sometimes nobody notices the kickers or the kicking unit until you mess up, right? So when you do what you're supposed to do, you don't always get the credit you deserve. Is that right?
Typically, but he got the OVC player of the week. So that's like, you get as your kicks deserve, I guess. So I was happy for him. It was cool to have that honor for him. And those small little kind of shout outs, are big things, and we appreciate that. And I know he does too. And so we're fired up that he got a little love, and hopefully that propels him into to keep going in the next week and thereafter. And so we're excited for him.
Perfect, Coach. Appreciate your time as always. Best of luck this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. See you.